Welcome to the Exposed Truth Podcast with Jared Benny. This episode, I'm going to ask you if you want the red pill or if you want the blue pill. Do you want harsh reality or do you want la la land? Do you want to get faster or do you just want to feel or think that you're getting faster? Well, the red pill is the harsh reality. You're going to have to get stronger if you're going to want to get faster. The blue pill will make you think that running through ladders, doing speed drills around cones, hopping over little bitty cones, doing all this fancy stuff that you see on Instagram. And most of the time when people go to different speed training places or doing whatever, the drills are more often than not are conditioning based. Repeated actions, no overload. Overload being there is nothing to, there's no overload. There's nothing there to make them better. There's nothing way for them to overload the drills. And so then people get into the argument, is it power versus efficiency? Well, the more power equals greater efficiency. And a lot of times when people are talking about track and whatever and wanting to go do these speed places, now look, let's get this clear, is that when I talk about running speed, all I care about is the 40-yard dash. I care about short sprints, 20, 30, 40-yard. Primarily, I care about the 40-yard dash because that's what most of my athletes are football players. And they have to run a good 40, especially if they want to be in college or if they want to go from college to the professional level. Not only that, it relates to everything else. It relates to my softball girls. If they get tested from home to first, if I can get them better in 40, they're going to get better from home to first when they get timed. My baseball players have to run a 60-yard dash. I've had several go from 7.2s to 6.6s. And so if they can't run a good 60 without running a good 40. And so a lot of times you're hearing these coaches or these other people talk and they're reading books on sprint training. Well, most of the books out there on sprint training have to do with track and field. And I have no clue about track and field. I would think that the more powerful you are, the more efficient you can be. But there is efficiency in technique to where the athletes are actually putting more power in the ground. And I think that can get confused sometimes because they'll come in, hey, Jared, my daughter got better at track because her times may be a little bit better. But if you're running a 12.2 and you need to get down to a 12 that 0.2 of a second in my world should be easy to get them to do. And it's just like I talked about on the last episode of the Explosive Strength podcast is people think that they can just go work on their skill, work on their skill, work on their skill, work on their skill, and get better. Yes, that may be true, but I want exponential improvement. I don't want a little bit here and a little bit there. Hey, Jared, I had this, I've had a kid go from a 5.4 40-yard dash to a 4.5 40-yard dash. I've had kids knock off more than a half a second. I had a kid go from running a 5 flat to a 4.57. Each 1/10 of a second is 3 feet. That's 15 yards difference. It's crazy that people say, hey, I got a little faster, but hey, look, Jared, what do you think about isometrics? Hey, Jared, what do you think about this? They're trying to convince me that I need to be doing those different things when I'm trying to tell them what's actually working. I'm giving them the red pill, but all they want to do is hear the blue pill. And you have to continue to get stronger to get great speed. And we're going to go into physics and things like that, but a lot of these people want a hammer technique. Okay, yeah, that's going to get them better at moving their body through that range of motion. But once they get more technically sound, where's the extra improvement going to come from? They have to get stronger. I give the example of the baseball players with steroids years ago. If steroids are not so important, if steroids don't give you an advantage, why are they banned? You know, strength is very important. And so we're going to go over squat speeds and things like that. So that's what I wanted to get into about the running technique is there's no point. I don't believe in running technique. And at the gym, we don't ever work on technique. Hey, Jared, I need to work on my start. Well, that start crap is kind of what's been fed through their heads and stuff. Most of my gains when I'm training and when I'm talking about this on the podcast, and you've ever heard other episodes, you should check out BS speed training and how running in the sand and all that stuff's bad for you. I had a girl that plays volleyball, and as she was coming to me, her knee was bothering her, and she had her, and her thigh was hurting. And I said, "What have you been doing?" "Well, I had sand volleyball practice." Well, if you heard the episode about BS speed training, running in sand is bad. It may be harder, it may look cool. You'll see some famous people do it. You'll see some high-end athletes do it. Those high-end athletes, more than likely, are not very educated on what they're doing. If you take a guy that jumps a 40-inch vertical, he may try to teach you how to jump a 40-inch vertical, but he has no clue how to jump a 40-inch vertical because that was his God-given talent to do. So how you figure out what is real and what's not is you actually look at the people that's trained someone who, I can't jump a 40-inch vertical, but I've trained 30-something people to do it. But I have improved my own vertical, and I've had enough athletes, and I've taken the time to read books. I've taken time to read why physics, why this works, and trying to explain it to the other people. Now, I know a lot of people listening to the podcast are on the same page I am, but I'm trying to reach the people in the local area. I'm trying to reach the people that have no clue. And so I'm just trying to really get it out there as far as why these people think the way they think. They're covered up. They're taking that stupid blue pill and they're living in la la land. They don't get it. They don't want to read. They don't want to do the extra hard work. They want the diet pill. They don't want a diet plan. They just want the pill. And so that's the biggest difference between what really does work and what does not work. And so let's get into, we're going to go over ratios and talk about splits. So the other week when I talked with Dylan, we were talking about squat speed. And a lot of people, when they go to squat, they hear squat. Okay, squatting. If you look in the Science of Sports Training right here, I even brought the book out today, and we can turn it to the page, and it says, some sport exercises have little to no resemblance of the actual sporting or competitive skill. Squats, for example, are considered sport-specific exercise for sprinters because they directly contribute to improving sprinting performance. It's in the book. All right, it's not only there. What else did I mark back here? We can go over that later, where I was talking about the greater muscle tension, the more fast twitch units get activated. So this is how maximum and submaximal resistance affect the muscle. So the greater the muscle tension, weights, that's why we use the submaximal method. You have to get stronger. You have to create greater tension on the muscular system so that we can demand more of our central nervous system. And that's in some of these other books that I may play around with if I can pull them out and if I think about it as long as we're talking about this. Everybody knows that we squat. We have to increase our relative strength. We're not just increasing our squat. We're not going from 315 to 405. We're trying to go from 315 to 405 at relative the same body weight. Or if we need to increase our body weight, we've had kids that have gone from 190 pounds to weighing 205 pounds. A 15-pound weight increase in body weight has also led to the kid go running from a 5'1" to a 4'5". So we're not just making our athletes get lighter to run faster, they're actually getting heavier and running faster, which is much harder than most people think. So you'll see, like I said, drills more often than not. Like when you see people going to running drills, or they're going to speed training place here, they're going to speed training place there. I've got several speed training places around me or say that do speed training. Yeah, they run the kids through drills. But guess what? The drills are more often not conditioning drills. And they're making the athletes tired, but they're never really testing them. And if they do test, they're not really testing one efficient timing system. And I got into that with Bird a couple of weeks ago. And what I'm finding out, most timing systems may be the same, because me and Bird, we were talking about when people were running a 4.7 to a 4.5 range. If they're trying to get down to a 4.5, 4.4, they're going to have to run that 30 to 40 yard range in about a 0.88 or faster. And so, for instance, I had a couple of guys last week run 4.7s. Their 30 to 40 time was 0.98, both of them. And We had guys running a 4.93, 4.92. Their 10, I mean, their 30 to 40 was a 1 second. And so Bert and I were talking about his timing system and not my timing system are totally different. Um, the thing that we're getting is we are getting the same splits between the 20 to 30 and 30 to 40, even from the 10 to the 20. But where we're different is the 10-yard dash. My 10-yard dashes have worse times than his, but our splits are the same. So what that's telling me is that, and he's also admitted it, that the start with the free lap running system is kind of finicky. I think they wear bands or something. I don't know. I thought about buying different timing systems to figure out where they go, but also at there's a local high school here that timed the kids. They said they timed laser. They pulled out the track thing. Well, I think the track thing is manually started, and so I think with Bird and I were talking about, I'm about a tenth. So if they're running a 1.61, we're probably running a 1.71 on our system. We're running a little bit slower in the 10-yard. I think it's because as soon as the hand moves, flinches, breaks down, it starts. And so it's very sensitive. It's just like the one they use in the NFL Combine. The one I have, they used to use in the NFL Combine for years. And so if I've got athletes going to national level combines, if I got athletes going to the NFL Combine, my times may be a little worse. I had a kid that ran a 5.2 40-yard dash at his high school the other day. He said it was laser, but he ran at the gym and he ran a 5.3. He ran about a tenth of a second slower, which would probably be about like what he would on a different running system. I like one that's going to start off the hand, one that's going to start you out of a 3-point stance. I don't know if the free lap system does that. I think Bird said it's kind of really tough and it's not really right. So most people are starting standing up. And years ago, I was having people run these fast times, and we started ours standing up, and I would manually start it. But once I switched, I had guys running 4.8s. Once I switched to the hand system, to where it was starting off of their hand movement, they were running 4.8s. Now they're running 5.1s, so they're much slower. And I wanted a system to buy that was going to be super strict, so that when the kids went to their national combines, or these guys were to come to me, like I had a guy who was trying to get ready for the Rams, if they're going to go get tested by these organizations, I'd rather them test worse in the gym. Man, I think I ran a 4.6, I run a 4.7. Well, they go somewhere else. Oh, I ran a 4.53. Jared, I ran faster. Okay, yeah, that's good for you. That's what I wanted. But I did not want you to go tell someone you run a 4.5 and they go test you at a 4.7. That's kind of frowned upon in the recruiting stuff. So I said, I need a system that's going to be very finicky, very precise to what's going on. And I see a couple people out there. I use Brower timing. I have a display clock. I have not got my gates. So I'm going to have gates at the 10, 20, 30, and 40 so I can find out more about the split thing. But so far right now is, I think most of the timing systems, being with technology the way it is nowadays, they're going to be accurate in the splits. They're not going to be accurate in the start. I think my timing system is superior to all the other ones just because my start times are not as good as everybody else. I'm not trying to get these, I don't care about these kids' feelings, I just care about the results. And so, well, it's like the blue pill. The blue pill wants you to feel better, wants you to make you have some sense of la-la-ness, cluelessness. And the red pill is, hey, this is it. You're slow. I had a kid. I said, he came in and told me what he was going to run. I said, no. I said, you're going to run a 5.8. I ain't no way. There's no way. Kid ran a 6 flat. And he just could not get over how bad he was at 40. Well, he's been lied to. Some of these kids are being timed by the freaking stopwatch on the cell phone. How inconsistent and accurate is that? When my kids are running on that laser system, it's tough. It's tough to, and we don't just work on our 10-yard dashes. I don't believe in the 10-yard dash. I believe the 20-yard dash is a more indicator of what's going to happen in the overall 40 than the first 10 yards. So, yep, just wanted to cover the most timing systems were off in the first 10 yards, but after that, they're more accurate. I know some timing systems time in miles per hour, and I think that may be a great thing. I may buy one just because the younger the athlete, they don't know what speed is. They don't even know how to think about getting faster. But if they see a display clock that could put up miles per hour, hey, you just ran 14 miles an hour. They may try, it would be better if they ran 14.3 instead of just 14, 14, 14. If they can run 14.3 one day, 14.6 next day, and maybe a 14.9, it would help their mentality because a kid needs to see some type of number to beat, so it needs to be a game. And that's the thing I've done about the gym for most of these years is, how do you get the athletes that don't want to get better? How do you make them better? And so trying to trick the kids, the lazy kids that don't know or don't care and how to get better. So physics, I was going to cover some physics. To get the body moving, your legs have to produce a lot of force. Each step builds momentum, and the momentum helps keep you going to full speed. The strength you are reaction to you, the stronger you are relative to your body weight, the quicker you can get moving. It's how fast you're overcoming your own inertia. You know, force is mass times acceleration, or acceleration is force over mass. So in order to sprint, you need to accelerate. This is why I usually don't write stuff down, because I'm trying to read what I wrote so I don't forget it, and I have a little bit more hesitation. And power is strength over time. So in order to sprint, you need to accelerate to a portion speed. I can even read my handwriting that require the most amount of energy. So basically, the stronger you are, the less energy you have to produce with each footstep, and the less energy, the more efficient you can be. So that rolls back to what I was talking about earlier. Different timing systems. I know people have heard me talk about the 1.91 times body weight versus I'm at 2.1 times body weight, and the group that squats, the 2.1 times body weight is significantly faster than the one that does not. I think a lot of coaches and a lot of people out there still give squat crap because they don't understand squat and the lift itself, if you got that. So when they squat, I've had athletes say, hey, Jared, I squat 450, and I look at that, there's no way. You can look at someone and almost tell if they can do it, especially if you're talking about 450 plus pounds and squatting. And so I box squat them, and shit, they move 225 at a 0.53. No way you're squatting 450. And so I said, does the squat look like this? And I take the angle fold, which is folded chip, and I get it below the top of my knee. And where almost my hamstring is covering my calf and touching my whole calf as I'm squatting down. I'm squatting that deep, accelerating up. Oh, hell no, I don't squat that low. Well, you're not freaking squatting. And the thing we like about the box squat is the box squat is a tool. Just like any other tool, just like a drill, just like a shovel. It's used to get a job done. What does that tool do? What does the box do? Well, the box helps break up the eccentric concentric chain. As the athlete squats down, some of that energy dissipates, causing greater demand on the nervous system to fire and contract so that we can have a concentric muscle action. So it's also known as a static dynamic limit. So if you look in super training, let's see how good I am. If I can go to 392, maybe in this book. I got 2 copies of it. I'm looking through the new copy, and I don't know the pages because what they've done is they have changed some of the page numbers because of the addendums and the new edition. So if you're looking on YouTube, you can see that one's different. So I'm gonna go to the trusty old one where the pages are falling out and see what we can find here. 392. This is just maximum effort method. So if we're trying to create explosive strength or explosive mechanics, we use reactive methods. And you got plyometrics, which is reactive method. So then you drop down to another thing, which is called contrast methods. Contrast methods, load release, heavy light, stripping, pneumatics, and static dynamic. Let's see where static dynamic is in here. Got cluster training. Well, I can probably won't be able to find it as quick as I would like to. I'll just tell you because I know it. Static dynamic improves absolute strength and rate of force development at the same time. So we take squats, we build our relative strength, our absolute strength, and work on our rate of force development training at the same time. When we go from squatting to jumping just helping sharpen our central nervous system a little bit more so that we are getting and maximizing our rate of force development by moving a lighter load at faster speeds. So we're using a brief maximal tension method with box squats so that we can increase our absolute strength, so that we can increase our relative strength, so that we can produce more force in a short period of time. And the biggest thing about the box being it allows us to cause greater demand on our nervous system is that the box height is always consistent. If you take a kid and you switch the box height, or if you don't have a box or i.e. tool to sit down on, as the weight gets heavier, the kid or athlete or whatever person you're training is trying to get their reps, they're getting scared they may not get the reps. So guess what? They're not going to squat to death like they should. So you're going to have some inconsistencies there. You also are just creating what I call general strength, because there's no demand on the nervous system like you would with a box squat. Once you sit down, stop, let some of that energy dissipate, and stand back up quick. You have to think about compensatory acceleration. That may, I think it's in the book Power Training by Fred Hatfield. You have to squat with some type of intent. When you sit down on the box, you're not touching, going, trying to move fast. If you are, you're trying to basically just blow off your spine. So we box squat with a tendo at relative strength speeds in meters per second. I'm gonna call it here, it's called explosive box squatting, because our distance is consistent. And in the power equation, power is strength over time. And being that our distance is constant, we can actually use and calculate that as explosive strength. And so explosive box squatting is when we box squat with a tendo trying to move weight at a certain speed relative to their body weight, we will get faster in the 40-yard dash. And so I'm going to go over some speed numbers here. We have a kid, and it don't matter, like, okay, it matters how much he squats relative to how much he weighs. It does not matter his overall absolute squat. You see these college coaches on Instagram, whatever. Hey, this kid squatted 440, this kid squatted 450, this kid squatted 525. Yeah, he did. Yay for them. But what are they moving what are they moving 80% of their squat max? How fast is that moving? Are they moving it at 0.63? You can have a kid that squats an overall absolute weight. This is where I think that weight training gets a bad rap, is that they may squat a lot of weight. Yay for them. But where is that weight moving at a specific speed? So if they can't squat 80% of their max at a 0.63, and say they only squat 70-75%, guess what? They need to squat with more intent. So this one kid, overall weight does not matter. It only matters relative to your body weight. So this kid weighed, I should have wrote the body weights down. I didn't write his body weight down. I did write this guy's body weight down. This guy ran a 493 at 240 pounds. He moved 375 at 0.63. Well, that 375 at 0.63 is 1.56 times his body weight. And then another guy moved 1.49. So this guy was a 1.49. The other guy was a 1.56. The 156 ran a 493. The 1.49 ran a 503. All right, so you want to get a little faster. So the 156, 493. 149, 503. Well, this one kid weighing 235 squatted 1.61 times his body weight at a point 0.6. He ran a 4.81. Okay, this kid ran a 1.37. What do you think his 40 is? 5.14. Okay, so 1.37. This one at a 1.78. 1.78 times your body weight, moving at a 0.6 meters per second with a 10 unit. 457. So 178. Let's look at the worst time on this list that I have. 0.94. Not even a 1.94, 0.94. He can't even squat his freaking body weight at a 0.6. And a 5.7 140-yard dash. All right, let's see. I got another kid at a 1.63 times body weight, a 4.92. And he's younger. Okay, so what I'm trying to figure out, if we have so many kids that are running 4.5s and they're all 1.78 times their body weight, or they're 1.75. Well, you got kids that are squatting 1.3 running a 5 140-yard dash. You got kids that are running a 4.8 at a 1.6, a 1.49 at a 5.03, a 1.63 at a 4.92. So, all right, we got a 1.63 here. We got a kid that squatted 1.63 and a kid that squatted 1.61. The 1.63, which is faster than the 1.61, actually ran a slower 40-yard dash. So if I can collect enough data with all these kids that have all these different speed numbers, what's the limiting factor? So if this kid's squatting 1.7 times his body weight and he's only running a and he's only running a 4.840, squatting more at that point may not be his limiting factor. So squat may not always be king once we have these relative speed numbers. But I know once you have these relative speed numbers, you have to be strong to be fast. And so if you have that and you're still not faster, then we can go on down the road search and look for what's going on. So try to get someone more of that stuff figured out. Let's go over some of these folders for these kids, because, you know, like I said before, I've had kids go to other speed training places and they took the blue pill. They did the fancy drills, they did the flashy stuff, but they didn't get any faster. So they're paying these people that are telling these parents, hey, that they're getting faster, but they're just feeding them the blue pill. They're feeding them what they want to hear. They're feeding them what they think. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I think I got to do these running drills to get faster. You don't have to run to get faster. And that's the main thing we do at the gym. We don't go on turf. We don't work on our running technique. I don't even teach them how to start. I may show them the day of how to start with that box and then take off running. Because if I can get that kid faster without showing them anything about the start, any running technique, how to swing their arms, how to move, how to circle legs, wall drill, I don't do any of that stuff. But yet these kids get faster. And if speed drills were the key, these athletes, we're not running track. We're running short, accelerated sprints. We don't need to worry about the most efficient way to cycle our legs, because we don't have time to cycle our legs in an efficient manner when we're trying to cut down and juke someone in a sport. Everything in sports acceleration. And if you want to play your sport and you want to be faster on the field, you have to be stronger relative to your body weight. And all these, you can tell a lot of people are just kind of like BSing you around, and I'll say retarded is, oh, Jared, I'm faster on the field than I am running a 40-yard dash. No, you're the same. Your sprint speed on the field, your sprint speed in the gym, your sprint speed on the track is your sprint speed. My game speed's different. Game speed has to do with the reaction, not the speed of your body. So how you react to a play. How many times have you visually seen this so that you can react? Um, that's in one of my motor learning books. Sometimes the sporting action happens so quick that you're pulling out an educated guess as to what's about to happen in that reaction. That's why if you watch a soccer game, that'd be a good example. When they're doing a penalty kick, sometimes the goalie jumps in the opposite direction that the ball is kicked because they had to anticipate, because that ball is being kicked at such a rate of speed that he don't have time to react, so they're going to anticipate the kick. And so that's why sometimes the goalie goes in the opposite direction of the ball, because they have to anticipate it. So that's like when you go to, hey, Jared, I'm faster on the field. Well, you're anticipating the play. You're anticipating on what's about to happen. You've seen this happen so many times that you got a 99% shot of being right. But that 0.1% shot is a time the ball's caught over your head, or you turn your hips in the wrong direction and a guy flew past you. Has nothing to do with true actual speed. Has to do reaction and knowledge. If you want to be faster, oh shoot, I messed up on this play. Now I have to hawk this guy down. Then your 40-yard dash does matter, because your true running speed is what's going to take to catch that person, not your game speed. And I'm so tired of hearing all this BS. Hey, game speed this, game speed that. You're not faster on the field. You react on the field. It has nothing to do with how fast you actually are. If you want to see how fast you actually are, get burned by a wide receiver and hawk his ass down. If you can't hawk him down, you're slow, or he's just playing out straight up faster than you and it's going to show up on the 40-yard dash. So we've had people go from point A to point B at the gym with no technique training, no running. And you got parents, hey, Jared, I want my kid to get faster. When are you going to do running drills? You don't need them. That's the blue pill. You know, that's what I should start using the stupid blue pill, red pill analogy a little bit more, because I asked this kid the other day, what do you want? Do you want the freaking blue pill or do you want the freaking red pill? You choose what you want. I am telling you the truth and what physics say. We revolve around physics. We're held on this earth because of physics. Mass times acceleration, force. So let's go over some of these folders. I have lacrosse girls that come, and I'm gonna go over some of their folders. But I'm gonna go over this folder right here because this kid came to me because he went somewhere else first. And he didn't go to a place that's down the street around me. He went to some other place that I've never even heard of, that's not even close by. Well, the kid got heavier and he got slower. All right, so that tells me that whoever was doing their speed training was making the kid feel better because he was doing the drills, making him think, hey, I'm doing these drills, I'm actually going to get better. Well, what happens when reality hits and you get freaking tested? You find out you're still damn slow. So you get a lot of people that has, well, Jared, they don't get faster in school either because they're trying to create the weight room environment in school as a conditioning program because they don't know anything, because they don't test. If they were to, well, a lot of times they got freaking people in the weight room that don't even want to be there, so they're punishing the kids that want to get better because of the kids that don't want to get better. Kind of like society, you know, I'm punished every time when I go to the damn airport because some dumbass wanted to blow up some buildings years ago. We never had the security. So a lot of times when we're punished because of society, is because some dumbass out there did something wrong, and now we're all having to pay the price for it. I don't even know where the hell that came from. That's how I feel. So this kid started off, he ran a 5.51, and this is perfect. He ran a 5.51, next month 5.43, 5.2, 5.13. When he first came to me, he was squatting 300 at 0.61. Now he squatted 405 at a 0.67. The only thing I don't have in here is his body weight. I didn't start changing the body weight ratio stickers until April. So we're at 1st of August today. And so I should have kept better track of their body weight to squat speed ratio. And that's just something I came up with because this kid, like, why am I not faster? Why am I not faster? And so I've been tracking, everybody knows I've been tracking running speed. 40 I've been testing 40-yard dashes, and I've been monitoring squat speed. Well, shit, let's just put these two together. Let's do how fast you move 0.6 times your body weight and what's your 40-yard dash time. So, and I don't even know this kid's body weight. I do know he jumped from 26 vertical to a 33.2 vertical. With no technical running, nothing. Just straight up increased his relative strength in which he moves the bar. So from a 300, he went up 105 pounds in strength speed. All right, I got a female here. A lot of the times the females, they don't like the 10 unit because females most of the time get their feelings hurt or have those things called feelings. And I tell them, I don't care about your feelings, because feelings get in the way of what really is, red pill versus blue pill, throwing it out there. This girl was running a 5.8, next 5.7, 5.6, 5.5, 5.4, 5.4, 5.3, 5.3, 5.2. So she was improving good. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2. Starting to get to a level out pattern, but guess what? Kept going. Went from a 19-inch vertical to a 27-inch vertical. Throwing speed, month 1, 56, month 2, 57, month 3, 58, month 4, 60. Went from 56 to 60 miles an hour. I'm trying to average. All right, throwing speed went from throwing 56 miles an hour. That's speed, right? Whether it's throwing, running, the rate at which you come off the ground is speed. So if you're jumping hard, you produce more force into the ground. If you produce more force per step, your stride length is going to be longer. I don't care how efficient you are, greater strength, the less technical you have to be. So, but if you're coming to me for track sprinting, I've had kids run a 4.540, run a 13.100. I don't know anything about track sprinting. I do know how to get them faster in the 40-yard dash. I do know how to get them faster in a 20-yard dash. I know how to get them faster in the distances that sports played. That's it. I ain't trying to read some track book. I'm trying to read science, research, and put numbers together, because numbers matter in everything we do. They matter in life. They matter in your checkbook. They matter in miles per gallon. They matter in sports game. That's why we keep score. The blue pill people may think you don't need to keep score because they don't want to get their little Johnny feelings hurt, but I don't care about little Johnny's feelings. All I care about is little Johnny's results. This girl right here, 6'4", 6'1", 6 flat, 5'9", 5'8". Pretty good running speed, no technical. 55 miles an hour throwing speed. These are softball girls, so I'm increasing their throwing speed without any specific throwing program. Strengthen the right muscles that can produce the force, that can produce the sporting action they needed. Like in the book, that's Science of Sports Training. Some of these exercises are not directly specific to the sport, but they enhance the sport thing. So 55 miles an hour, 57, 58, 66. This girl went from throwing 55 to 66 miles an hour, running from a 6'4" to a 5'8". So this kid, he ran a, see if I wrote this down. I'm trying to figure out, he just ran his 40-yard dash. He was squatting 355 at a 0.61. And he ran a 4.76 40-yard dash. And I don't have, did I organize the numbers? 315, 355.65. I do not have his numbers organized in the way that I need it, but he went from a 5.07 and a 5.08 with a 28.5-inch vertical. Next test was a 4.90, 5.0, 4.90, 4.89, then a 4.81, then a 4.76. So went from a 5.0 to a 4.7, no No speed training, no drills to make them feel better. It's just straight up squat grind, explosive squatting. 28.5-inch vertical to 35-inch vertical. His broad jump went from, never tested the first time. His back half of his sprints, his 30, his 20 to 30 was a 100, and his 30 to 40 was a 0.98. And so that's what I was talking about. So like Bird, Michael, some of you guys that listen to me, Blake, whoever, get these splits together for these different things, and we can try to figure out which timing systems or where the starts are, because I don't have a clue about anything besides Broward, and most of the time I'm have worse 40-yard dash times than everybody else, but I think it's because of the 10. And the thing about the school timing a kid, that one kid I had, he runs a 5.3. His best at school was a 5.2, so there's only a tenth of a second difference there. But they're manually starting it. So I had a kid that runs a 4.8. They said he ran a 5 flat, I think. So then they had another kid that actually said that. So I've had two kids run. Well, that kid that ran a 4.88, I think he ran a 4.7. The kid that ran we're about a 10th off, and I'm a 10th slower than what they are. But I've had kids that have ran a 4.8 and they've ran a 5 flat. So if their timing system is so consistent, you got two kids that are running a tenth of a second slower at the gym than they were at their school. But you got this other kid, same plays, he's running 0.2 of a second slower there than he is at the gym. So sometimes when they're manually starting, I was telling a kid, they said, Jared, how can this be? I said, well, the coach that's manually starting it, if they accidentally you kind of caught them slipping when you started, they're not going to say they messed up. You know, it is what it is. They're just going to read off what they got, you know. So I've got some, I got this one kid over here too. 5.5 40-yard dash, 5.2, 5.1, 4.96, and a 4.98, then a 4.97. So we've been stuck at this 4.9, but we dropped from a 5.5, been stuck at a 4.9. And the thing I wanted to bring out, and the reason I brought out his folder, is because he was running faster per month, but he was also squatting 3 days a week. I took away the squatting 3 days a week, and he's only squatting twice a week, and his running plateaued. So this month we're going back to squatting 3 days a week. So we're going to see what happens. And again, all that's going to do is reiterate what I'm trying to say. 5.5 is what it was to a 4.9, 0.6 of a second. No technical running. And sometimes I don't have the greatest athletes. And someone wants to crap on me on Instagram, I'm just getting exceptional athletes. No, I'm just smart enough to figure out how to get it done. It ain't exceptional athletes. That kid tell you he's about as athletic as a sheet of paper, but can produce force. Your coaching skills, if you're a coach for a sport, needs to be able to improve these athletes on field like I do in the gym. I make them faster. I give them the physical ability for coaches. Now these kids can run faster, they can jump higher, they can produce a lot more force. But a lot of coaches out there are just drill oriented because they don't know anything, because they don't test. They don't take the time to try to learn it. And if they do test, and I think they're scared, if they do test, they're going to be exposed to stuff not working right. So I was going to go over some of these lacrosse girls' folders. Throwing speeds, just because we're getting stronger. So I tested their throwing speed of the lacrosse stick. This girl went from throwing 46 miles an hour from 1 month to the second month, 2 miles an hour in 1 month. Okay, now this is better right here. I had this one girl, she went throwing 50 miles an hour the first month to 62 to 63 miles an hour. So that was 1, 2, 3. So that was a pretty huge jump, and you don't really see that. This one girl went from 49 miles an hour in 1 month to 53 miles an hour the next. This one's never tested. This one's going from 51 to 60 miles an hour up to 63 miles an hour in throwing speed. So and this is in the months of October, November, to where they're not even playing lacrosse. Bring in your lacrosse stick. Let's throw this ball and snap the 70 miles per hour you're hitting. And let's see if this is improving. 51 to 60 to 63. So it's just not 50 to 60. Now, some of these girls have, but you got to keep in mind when I'm talking about some of this stuff, it's 50, 52, 54. So that's not a fluke the first month, because if they got better second month, what about the third month? 41 to 43, not tested. 52, 56, 60. Then took a break and did not come back for a year. Started off at 53 to 57. So inconsistency will kill you every freaking time. So what I'm trying to cover is you have to get stronger and get faster, whether it's throwing, running, jumping. I came across this after I wrote it down. Look, beware of coaches who tout themselves as sports specialists, especially in areas of strength, speed, and quickness, since most of the programs advocated are typically physical conditioning programs. And you know what's so funny about that? I was talking to Ross the other day about the gym about that is I wrote my notes down first. These are my thoughts already. And when I wrote earlier, drills are more often not conditioning based, repeated actions with no overload, I wrote that and I said, most of the time that's true. That's what you get when you get to blue pill. You're just getting false reality. And when I read that and To Build a Better Athlete by Michael Yesses, I was right. And I tell people, like a lot of people try to prove me wrong at the gym. Guess what? I'm right. I know I'm right. And I don't even know. I told Ross, I don't even know how I know some of the crap that I know. But when I'm reading through these books, several books out here on the desk right now, as I'm reading through these books, and I'm like, damn, I've already been doing that. And I was like, damn, I wrote that, then I read it. And so I thought that was absolutely crazy. So I was like, I do know a lot of different things. What's in this book that I pointed out? Okay, well, this kind of goes in line with that. It's talking about these coaches doing these conditioning drills and all this other stuff. Well, I've had kids that have gone other places. I had a kid that was with me. I took him a 6 flat to a 5-140. Goes to another place, wants to do speed training because explosive mechanics is hard. Explosive mechanics sucks. Squatting sucks. Athletes want to do the easy thing. Athletes want to take the diet pill, not the damn diet. Harsh reality is you're going to have to get stronger. And even harsher than that, getting stronger and at the way I need you to do to improve your sport performance is not fun. It's not the blue pill. It's not there to make you feel better. It's there to tell you the truth and show you what is and what is not. And what I like, a lot of kids say, I was like, yeah, hey, how does it feel to get faster without having to run? A lot of kids don't even like to run. So you're sprinting faster without having to do all these stupid running drills. Another thing, I get on the kids about going to track practice. These high school coaches may have played sport in college. They go back to be a high school coach, whatever. They're going to do what they did because they don't know any different. Because guess what? Did they go to school to be a sport coach? Nope. They went to school to probably be a history major, a science teacher, a PE coach, a history major or a history, science, math. They went to do something besides learn this material that I'm learning. I run a business. I'm trying to prove people that I'm telling the truth and this is what's happening. And I test. I'm just like a teacher. I give these kids this material. I give them these workouts. And if you do what I say, you'll get faster, you'll jump higher. I give these kids an opportunity to get better. I basically give them the diet. And whether they do it or not, and sometimes with them, you can't force someone to squat 400 if they don't want to squat 400. But getting back to like this track, so I've had a kid running 4.8, goes to track. I told him don't run track. And this is what I was getting at with the coaches because they just sometimes overrun them. Well, this is what I did. I got better. I don't really know if you got better because you never really had marked improvements. If you went from running a 12.2 to a 12 flat, I don't think that's better. That's the same. It's the same damn thing. It's maybe 6 feet difference. And if you're talking about 400 meters, that's a long time. So it should be a lot. 12 would be 100 meters. It should be a lot faster. If I can get kids half a second faster in 40 yards, then if the track coach taught them right and did the right track drills, they'd be able to maintain, because in track you have an acceleration phase, a maintain phase, and a decel phase. Well, Jared here is really good at getting the kids faster in the acceleration phase, but that's all we have to do. 30 to 40 yards in sport, and we're done. I'm not a track wizard. I don't spend time out there on track. I don't have to go compete against other track people. And so I don't have to sit out there and try to figure out how to get the athlete a better maintain phase before the decel phase happens. So, and most often not, when these track coaches are out there at practice, they're overrunning the shit out of them. And so this one kid who went from running a 4.8 to a 5.1, and he said, how, Jared, how? This don't make any sense. How? Well, guess what? Endurance training reduces a muscle's inherent capability of maximum power output. It reduces glycogen content and altered mechanical properties of the muscle, which are all unfavorable to strength athletes. And so this is from the book Power, Scientific Approach by Fred Hatfield, is that a lot of these coaches are just out there overrunning the kids. They're just killing the kids overrunning. And this is one of my favorite texts right here. Super training. All right, so we went from a Power, Scientific Approach by Fred Hatfield to Super Training by Mel Sif. And hopefully I'll be able to put these on my website to get people more of these books. I'd like to try to help as many people as I can. All right, so that text here, along with this text here, endurance training reduces vertical jump power, reduces explosive speed, and similar fast twitch fiber activate. So you're decreasing your fast twitch fiber activation because endurance training may degrade fast twitch fibers, replace them with slow twitch fibers, or cause enzymic and neuromuscular changes more appropriate to slow endurance activities. So enzymes are changing, you're converting fast to slow, you're just really screwing yourself up. Let's see, cardiovascular endurance formed at low intensity for a period of time. Nope. And this can kind of go toward with the strength stuff. Fast twitch and slow twitch fibers do not necessarily mean that fast movements recruit fast fibers exclusively, and slow movements do slow fibers. So slow movements, if using compensatory acceleration, can recruit fast twitch fibers. You got to think. I don't know if I can find it quick enough in the Super Training book, but it's actually going to be in Science and Practice of Sports Training. And so it talks about once you lift an extremely heavy load, whether it be the maximum effort method or the brief maximum tension method, you're demanding intermuscular and intramuscular coordination. You're causing all these fibers to fire at optimal discharge frequency. They're all firing at the same time. So when you're lifting a heavy load, all fibers are activated simultaneously in order to help overcome that resistance. So fast twitch fibers are actually recruited with heavy slow movements, just like Super Training said. But we also, I don't know if it's in this one over here, lightweight movements moving extremely fast help to sharpen and tone the central nervous system. And I think I just brought this book out here. This is going to go over sprint running, but I can't find some of this stuff because I didn't organize my bookmarks enough, but this is just stuff I know and I can recall. I know what books it's in, but I don't really know some of the page numbers sometimes because it's been a while since I've looked at them, and I'm just really trying to hammer the speed stuff down, is that basically you have to get stronger to get faster. And when you lift weights, if you got all fibers firing at optimal discharge frequency, you're creating greater excitement for those fibers to adapt and respond to that stress and stimulus. And if you're doing endurance training, and anything over 6 reps will hinder strength development. And so this kid the other day said, geez, they were doing 3 sets of 10 on power cleans. Power cleans is a rate of force development exercise. It needs to be done with multiple sets, very few reps. Multiple sets, very few reps. 8 sets of 3 instead of 3 sets of 8. But a high school coach is just in there to get the job done quick because they only had a certain amount of time in the weight room. So they don't have time to do 8 sets, so they're going to do 3 sets. Well, guess what the kid does? Either gets hurt, does not get better, and hates life. So you can't just take numbers and flip them and do what you think or what's more convenient for you. Do what's best for the athlete. A program for increasing the sprint speed, starting acceleration, and sprint running. This is from Verkhoshansky's shock method. Verkhoshansky's the one that had his Verkhoshansky's shock method. This is basically where we got plyometrics from. Fred Korn, but Verkhoshansky here was snowed in off his tracks in Russia. They didn't have access to them, but they had access to a gym, had barbells, dumbbells, boxes. So they did some jumps and they squatted. And after the snow melted, he took the athletes back to the track. He noticed that the athletes were faster, and they've improved in the events that he was checking them in more than they have in any other year in a shorter period of time. So in that short period of time, they improved much more than they ever have in the past. And he said, I never thought about getting stronger to get faster. And so he's the one that came up with the shock method, and we turned plyometric. We've taken a lot of stuff from Russia and the USSR, but this is one of his books. But guess what? So this is just a program for increasing speed, running speed, acceleration, and sprint running, okay? Guess what? Squats. And this is one of the first books, because I've always timed kids. We rest 4 to 5 minutes at the gym. Most of the time, I like to rest 5 minutes between our squat sets. And sometimes these weak kids, they're impatient. They just want to come in and knock stuff out and get in and get out. Guess what? Barbell squats, 85 to 90%. 5 to 6 sets of 2 to 3 reps. Rest minutes, 4 to 5. Just like I told someone earlier, I just pulled this book out today just to try to cover this podcast. Week 1, training session 1, barbell squats. Training session 2, barbell squats. Training session 3, vertical jumps with a bar. Jumps in place. Workout 4, week 2, barbell squats. So each week they're always squatting, and their squats, highest here is 90%, 90%, 93, 95%, 90%. And so, what else did I mark? Oh, this is done for volleyball players, a program for the preparatory stage of high-level athletes. Of high level, not just intermediate people. So imagine that you take an intermediate person and you make them stronger. Barbell squats, day 1. Day 2, barbell squats. Day 3, barbell squats and vertical jumps. Day 4, barbell squats and vertical jumps. Day 5, vertical jumps and volleyball spikes. Day 6, barbell squats and volleyball spike. Day 7, depth jumps and volleyball spike. Day 8, depth jumps and volleyball squats. Day 9, barbell squats and depth jumps. Day 10, depth jumps and depth jumps. What's our rest? Rest is 4 to 6 minutes. 4 to 6 minutes. So when they're squatting over here, and this with the more advanced people, they're actually, instead of 4 to 5, they're actually 4 to 6. So I saw a program for increasing jump height. Well, guess what they got to do for the jump height? It may be in a different book. Yeah, I didn't take time to find it for this, but anyway, so harsh reality is you have to get stronger to get faster. Getting stronger is not the funnest thing to do. A lot of people don't want to squat. I've had a lot of kids try to get the hell out of squat. I've had a lot of kids come to the gym. Oh, my back hurts, my leg hurts. Oh, Jared, my knees. I got bad knees. You're freaking 13 years old. You don't have bad knees. Looks left, looks right. Nods head. Guess what? Start a squat. Full squat. No issues, no knees. All of a sudden, the kid gets faster. And his dad starts to come in, compliment me on how many people have noticed how much better he's gotten. The kid didn't want to squat. And sometimes a kid will come in and complain to their parent. And their parent, sometimes are already against the lifting in the first place. And so the kid knows, hey, if I say my back hurts, because kids aren't stupid. They may do stupid things, but they also know how to play the system. And so, hey, I know if I say my back hurts or my knees hurt, my mom and dad's going to wig out and I don't have to squat. I'm going to a place down the street that gives me the blue pill. But Jared's going to give me that damn red pill that I don't really freaking want in the first place. I'm giving you what works, not giving you what you want to hear. So I hope I got the message across. Hopefully I'll do another red pill versus blue pill podcast later on down the road. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.